and not just casting students, but casting the school itself. What was the process like for narrowing it down to avenues?
Well, that made the film. Look, I give Chris Whittle credit. He's somewhat of a controversial character. He took a risk. He's someone that enjoys the limelight. I think that was part of it, and he wanted to bring attention to the school. It was only 2 or 3 years old when we started. But I'll be honest with you, getting into an elite New York City private school, I would say it's as hard as getting into the CIA or death row, 2 places that I've been and filmed. This was as tough because there's some, let's just say, very wealthy, powerful parents, or that might not be comfortable with something like this, and are going to throw their weight around. So I give the school and I give Chris a lot of credit. I don't even know if he's seen the film, but that's really what made the film, is that we were able to get in. And I think one of the reasons was, Steve, as we were talking earlier, I've lived in this neighborhood, I don't even want to admit how long, for 4 decades. And my kids went to Hudson Guild. Whoopi Goldberg's mom was their first instructor. Whoopi grew up in those projects. So I've seen this neighborhood change, and I could honestly say to some of the families at Avenues, to the administrators, look, when I moved into my loft, I was, I guess, what would be called an urban pioneer. I moved in with a bunch of freaks, and there was no heat on the weekends. There was a garment factory upstairs and downstairs, but we didn't care. Then, 10 or 15 years later, when I became domesticated, and my wife moved in with me, and we started a family, I remember when my wife's mother came for the first time, she started crying. She couldn't believe her daughter ended up in a factory on 26th Street. Now, if she was still alive today, she'd see there's a Hilton Hotel literally 3 buildings down, a Holiday Inn at the other side. It's just changed so radically. So what I'm saying is that I was able to present to the families and to the administrators that, look, I've seen it from all sides. And now I'm at the other end of the cycle, where my studio, which is at the end of 26th Street by the Hudson River, I only have a few years left, and there's no way I can afford, to keep my operation, my company in this neighborhood, because of everything you just saw. So, I'm facing, as the woman, who got emotional and who was afraid that she may be displaced and have to leave her home, I'm facing the same decision that, it's going to be difficult to stay, certainly in Chelsea, if not, Manhattan, anywhere. So I think that I could come and say I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've been, the pioneer, the so-called creative class gentrifier, and now potentially the displaced. I've seen it from different perspectives. And we're not here with an agenda just to make you look bad, because you are the wealthy or you have privilege. We're not coming with that agenda. We're coming to capture a moment. And in a way, it's like a sweet spot, because there still is a mix in the neighborhood that keeps it vital, that makes it, in a way, a vanguard neighborhood, a neighborhood that at least is going to try to figure out how do you manage these forces, these changes in a sane way. It's not easy. And now I think the school, to its credit, is becoming more involved in that dialogue. And I think the students, in many ways, are the ones that push the school. And in many ways, Yasmin's effort was kind of like, it took students to cross the street and say, hey, we want to get to know each other, for the school and the administrators to follow.